the GM is out because of, cancer right now and trying to get healthy and everything like that. But on top of that, I don't think they're going to make moves anyway. So it's not even like they're another team that this is what you get for holding guys for no reason and bringing in, random people. Just they should have traded these guys away a month ago, 2 months ago. You weren't going to win. You're going downhill. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You wonder if the Yankees look at them like one of those funhouse mirrors. They look across town and they're just like, there's the complete bipolar opposite version of us.
Yep.
Yeah, like the psycho sister or whatever.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you go back to 2014, 2015, the Mets were doing that to the Yankees.
Yep.
Which is wild how fast things change, because 3-4 years ago, the Mets had the best 5 starters in baseball. They had these young guys hitting, timely hitting. They had the whole city on their side. You look at the Yankees, old, bad contracts, nobody in the system. How are you going to trade away Gatman and all these contracts, all this money? Who's going to want these guys? Ellsbury. And now they just flip-flopped again. It's crazy.
Cubs are linked to Britton and Brad Hand.
I saw that before we came on.
Okay.
Theo would do it. They have the prospects to do it. And, man, if Theo could work away, trade away someone really good in the system and throw in like a Darvish or throw in a bad contract, well, specifically Darvish, he would look like a miracle, man.
Yeah.
People need to stop counting them out.
What's up?
So people need to stop counting them out. Like, every time I see somebody coming out of the NL, they're never even on anybody's list.
I think they're, as of a week or two ago, I think they were number 1 or 2 to win the pennant in the NL.
Well, it's why does it seem like all the writers are just saying that they have no chance?
Oh, they are. They're all saying that it's, they're not going to win the division. It's the Brewers' year. The Dodgers and, Dodgers going to get healthy and figure it out. Arizona's still there. Yeah, no, I mean, why would you put it past the Cubs? The Cubs just need any type of
one piece.
They are one pitcher away. I don't know if it's a starter or a reliever, but they are one pitcher away. They're hitting fine from top to bottom. They're playing amazing defense. They run the bases great. They have a manager that has been there before, regardless of how I feel about him. He's been there, right? And
they have a team that's been there before.
And they have a team that's been there before. They have a city that really has been there before. They love the Cubs. So, they got everything they need.
It's wide open, though, really. The
NL stinks this year. You look at, pitching-wise, the top 5 ERA guys, 2 through 5 are all American League. DeGrom's the only guy in the top 5 there. You look at just straight up all those stats you were reading, Terry, about the offense earlier. It's all Red Sox, Yankees, Houston. It's all them. So the NL is wide open this year. This is the year, though, similar to 2007 when the Red Sox beat the Rockies. This is the year you could see the Rockies. You could see the Brewers in the World Series.
Phillies.
One of those years. Phillies, Atlanta. You could see one of these teams that has been a rebuild the past few years, or a fringe team like the Brewers the past few years, and the Rockies finally just get in the playoffs and then just ride the hot hand. So, you could see that, which would be interesting. I would like to see it. I think it's good for baseball when smaller markets or markets that have been around forever make that big turn and get in there. But, I would be happy to play one of those teams in the playoffs. I'd be unhappy to play the Cubs. I think they would be much more of an issue to deal with.
Yeah, we just gotta get past the ALDS, but
we gotta get past that whole.
I want to win a series, damn it.
Yes.
I think the Red Sox need to win a series this year. I don't think that's a Dombrowski issue because he doesn't make the players play. He gets the best players for that position. It's just the players at this point. And this year is showing it that the manager does help, yes, with rest, with lineup, with motivation, having absolutely, but. Mookie Betts, not batting to his ability, power-wise, is on him. Bogarts was hurt last year. That's just unfortunate. J.D. Martinez was not here last year. Brock Holt had vertigo. J.P. had no support from anybody. Basically, was out there to drive. Kenny Leon started out so hot and then struggled and no one knew what to do. So I think that's a little combination of both. But these guys just need to flat out perform. Chris Sale needs to not be ridiculously tired. David Price needs to figure out where his balls are, go get them, and start throwing them. I think he
left him in Tampa.
He left them in Toronto, Detroit, any small market.
Yeah, getting back to the Cubs though, real quick. If if the Brewers make a splash here, whether that's Machado or another upgrade to their rotation, I mean, that's going to be a tough battle for the Cubs. I mean, it's going to be a similar race to us and the Yankees at that point, I think. And
Yeah.
Well, if they do that, then an impulse move will follow.
Well, not even an impulse move. It's just a move. Like
Necessity.
Already, like Theo is literally waiting.
We'll go get a Mets pitcher, basically.
Yeah, he's just waiting for a domino to fall so he can turn to ownership and say, like, see, told you so. Got to go get this guy. And he's going to be like, already has the trade going, already has everything worked out. Basically calls the team and says, here's the package. Please take it. Like, he's just waiting for the Brewers to make that. He's waiting for the Cardinals to do that, who did the opposite and fired their manager last night, which was
crazy.
That is crazy.
I like Matheny, yeah.
I don't mind Matheny. I'd go out to even say I like him.
They gave them Ozuna. They gave him Ozuna, and for some reason, management basically said, "We gave you Ozuna and Holland. Like, why can't you produce?"
Yeah,
like,
go look at it.
I can't produce. It's the managers. I mean, it's the players.
Yeah, like the manager can only do so much. I understand that sometimes it gets stale. Terry Francona here, John Farrell here. Totally understand that. But mid-year, like, who's going to come in and make that
one game under 500?
Yeah, one game of the 500, and like that's not the best stat in the world. But they're only 4 out of the wild card. I think that's the big thing. It's like
they're 2 over 500 actually.
There we go.
Yeah. Unless they have a Torey Lovello sitting on the bench, like the Red Sox had with Torey Lovello sitting behind John Farrell, to say this guy can manage the team better, get out of here. I get that. I would totally understand that. I don't know their system and their coaching staff well enough, but the reaction from the fans and from the fighters, it doesn't seem like that.
Well, I mean, you got to think back to when La Russa left. You know, I feel like the reaction was the same.
Really? I felt like it was better because they had Matheny.
They eased him out, right? But I don't think that they thought Matheny was going to be this good. Yeah, he was great for like a 4-year stretch. I mean, they won a World Series where he just flat out outmanaged Ron Washington.
Yeah.
Well, that was La Russa, though.
Was it? No,
yeah.
I think that was Matheny's first year.
No, La Russa retired on that.
Oh no, Matheny was in ours. That's what it was.
But he brought him to ours, and like Terry said before, I mean, we batted like 10 that series, and I remember you remember look at some of those games. You had Stephen Drew dropping fly balls in front of the pitcher and the catcher. Like nothing Matheny can do about that. You know what I mean? Like random stuff like that is nothing you can do. So I thought Matheny was fine. I really did.
Yeah, and if Cora, were to go with Dombrowski, I'm assuming whoever comes in next will probably keep Cora, but Matheny would be a guy I wouldn't mind having, to be honest with you, and so I mean I think he's gonna get another job, I guess is what I'm saying.
He will.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to work with the catchers.
Yeah, and maybe Girardi could end up in St. Louis. I mean, who knows?
That's the leading guy right now. I read that yesterday.
Yeah. And they got a good enough system, good enough foundation already in place. So
yeah, 100%.
He got done wrong.
Going back to real quick, trade targets for the Red Sox, guy off the bench, maybe someone that can just jump in, speed, whatever. Cameron Maybin, down Miami, only batting around 240 this year.
I forget he's there.
Obviously a speedster, obviously good defensively. I don't think there's any
World Series champion.
Send him Bradley. Let's do it.
It's always nice. Get out of here, Terry. It's always nice. But he only makes $3.25 million this year, so I think we'd be under the tax. He's a UFA next year, and if we throw in a relief pitcher there, a Steckenrider, a Ziegler, whoever.
Even Conley.
Yeah, and literally anybody that is Conley would be great. Conley and Steckenrider are so good because arbitration and team control. Steckenrider's got 2 more years of team control, which would be really good. Conley's got 3 more years of arbitration.
We had a question on Twitter with the Periscope live feed. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I told them that I would at least ask y'all. Let's see. That's the second live feed because there's 2.
I told you that would happen.
Yeah. So basically, who do you want to help the bullpen? Like, what is your top basically 2 options? Is it just basically any Miami pitcher?
Any Miami pitcher. I would.
That's mine.
I would like Strider more. but I would take another one, and I would really appreciate if Derek Jeter could do us a solid and throw us a Maben or a Castro or somebody else in that deal. Not a Real Muto. That's not going to happen. But, anybody really. I mean, I don't even know if you want to bat off the bench, even Justin Bour. Like, you know what I mean? It's
a big bat off the bench, too.
But, I mean, he's not going to, I don't think Jeter's sitting there being like, Justin Bour, huge future in Miami. You know what I mean? I don't know, because he's 30 years old. He's going to keep going to arbitration. I don't know, maybe, but give me a bat like that and a relief pitcher, I'll take that. So whoever give me somebody in Miami.
I feel like there's only 2 untouchables on that roster at this point. I mean, I might be missing one. I'm positive that I'm at least missing one. It's Brinson and Anderson. They're not going to move those. Those are building blocks for the future in Miami.
Yeah, anyone basically with only 2 or 3 years of control left is no good to them as far as their own future goes, because they're not gonna be competitive before then. So
they're looking in the 10-year window, basically.
Yeah, or at least the 5 or 6. But yeah,
I think the only guy maybe that would be like that would be Real Muto, because he's a UFA and catchers don't grow on trees in this league. If you could lock him up at 30 for 4 or 5 years, you could get 9 years out of Real Muto, and at the end of his deal, he'd be ready, and he could be kind of that cornerstone to the team. Other than him, like you said, just somebody with a couple years left of arbitration, and then UFA is fair game, and that's Justin Bour. He has 2 more years of arbitration. He's gonna be 31 next year. Do you need him? No. Castro, do you need him? No. Cameron Maben, do you need him? No. So those 3 guys right there, I expect most of them to get moved. Probably. I mean, Maben wouldn't be a bad option. Come off the bench, defensive placement. I mean, he can get hot with the bat, too, at times.
What is Zach Britton's market? Because, I mean, it can't be drastically better than...
It's not huge.
Yeah, than Herrera's.
He's played better recently. I think it's gotten better than when he first got off the DL. It's not massive, but I don't think anyone's is at this point, minus Machado. So I think he ends up in the Cubs or something, though. I honestly think the Cubs end up making a move like that.
They're ballsy enough to do it. They probably wouldn't have to give up much.
They have the pieces to give up. They wouldn't have to give up much. And honestly, it's a good team out there. They can hide them a little bit. You don't need him to come in and be the stop closer, be a 7th or 8th inning guy. He helps out a lot in that situation. His arms, it's weird. His arms hurt, right? But he's fresh. At the same token.
Yeah, the Astros, too,
how important it is.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets into it, just like Thornburg is going to be the best pitcher he will be this year in October.
That's our secret weapon.
That's our secret weapon. By the time he gets warmed up, by the time he gets more comfortable, I mean, he said he had the jitters. You have to test your arm and anything when you're injured. Carry your ACL. You're going to go out there and be a little skittish the first couple of days when you're on it. He's going to be most warmed up, most comfortable, most in himself in a couple months, which happens to be October. So that's why I don't think we need the big splash. I don't think we need a Britton or a Hand. I do think we need a little bit, but not the big guy. I think that's why I think Britton should get moved. I don't think he will because the Orioles, but Cubs could take him. That'd be a good spot for him. Maybe Milwaukee. That might just be the bidding war right there.
Houston as well would be interested.
Houston could really use him after Giles got sent down, quote unquote.
Second time he's cussed out Hinch this year.
Yeah, and it didn't end well from this
time. He's
time.
like Papelbon, way off the reservation.
Yeah, way off. But the problem with Giles, and we talked about with the bat flipping last episode, is that if you suck, you can't do that. If Kimbrel did that to Cora, Kimbrel's not getting DFA'd. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you kind of talk it out. You go behind closed doors and say, hey, listen, let's keep that behind closed doors. Let's keep that in the clubhouse. We don't need that. The team doesn't need that. The media doesn't need that. Giles, you just get the fuck out of town, Giles. You blow.
Yeah.
Why don't you go hit yourself again?
He's. I don't think he's, ever going to have a real prominent role with them again. But yeah, I don't know. I think Britton's definitely getting dealt. I have no question about that. It just depends on if there ends up being a bidding war or whatnot. But yeah. Like we were saying, though, with the Red Sox, I mean, we do have Thornburg. We have Workman. We don't know what we're going to get out of Brazier. But
yeah, look so far.
He's in our system
with Giles.